going on, everyone? Welcome to the Wangzilla channel. This is Will, and I'm continuing my short series on upgrading the Beastzilla, my 2019 NV3500 12-passenger van, upgrading the front end with all LEDs. If you watch the videos linked up here somewhere, I have already done LEDs for the headlights and for the fog lights. So this will be for the blinker / daytime running lights. It's a single bulb that controls both. These are switchbacks, and technically the ones I selected, which are these iBrightstar 3157 socket, these should be daytime white and then blinker amber, and it'll switch between those two based on the input it gets. So if it detects a blinker signal, it'll switch to amber. As soon as you stop blinking, it'll switch back to white. It should not blink white amber. It should be a solid blinking amber light and then a solid white light for daytime running lights. Now, the big question is, will these plug in directly and work, or will I get the dreaded hyperblink? If I do get the hyperblink, I picked up these iBrightstar 50 watt 6 ohm resistors, which I'll have to splice in, I believe, between the positive and the ground, which should then resolve any kind of hyperblink issues. Most likely I will solder that in, but we'll see how it looks and if I need to or not, and then we will go ahead and get these plugged in. I'm going to first try to plug one of these in and just test it, see if I get the hyperblink or not. If I do, then I'll move to the resistors. So hopefully I don't have to do that, but I'm guessing I will. And then so we'll go ahead and grab these up and head over to the beast. And as you can tell here, there is the OEM halogen amber light. You can see behind this lens here. And to access it, it is, let's see if I can maneuver this a little better. It is up here. You can see the wiring. I'll have to figure out what the positive, ground, and whatnot is for this. But the bulb socket itself is up here. I'm going to have to set the camera down to manipulate this realistically, and I'll go ahead and pull the bulb out, and then I'll swing back here and we'll take a look at how it looks, and then we'll compare it to the LED bulb that I have. Here is the OEM bulb, and you just have to twist it to unlock it. I believe it was counterclockwise, and then the bulb itself sits in the socket. I'm going to go ahead and remove the bulb from the socket. I'm going to use both hands. I want to shatter this into my fingertips, and then we will go ahead and line this bulb up next to the LED one, swap the LED one in place, and then we'll snap it in and see if we get the hyperblink or not. Here is the LED, of course, on the left, and then the old OEM halogen on the right, and you can see they have the same type of socket fixture, 3157. I believe officially it's 3157 AK. I'm not sure what the AK designates. I think it's the voltages and whatnot, or what signal goes on which pin. So hopefully this one, it does say it's compatible on Amazon, which doesn't really mean a ton, but it should work. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the socket, snap it in, and I'm gonna actually leave it sitting out here. I'll turn the car on, do the blinker to the passenger side, and see if is it blinking crazy fast, or is it blinking as it should, and does it light up white for daytime and amber for blink. So that will be interesting to see. If that works out the box, that would be awesome, but I'm not banking on it. I have the daytime running lights on. Well, I have the headlight switch into the, parking light switch mode, so not all the way headlights on. So you can see here, OEM one, amber, just glowing, doing nothing fancy. Headlights are off. But you come over here, and it's glowing white, which is what I wanted, which means the daytime running light voltage is being input, and it's reading it and giving me the white LEDs. Now it'll be interesting to turn the blinker on and see what that does for us. So go ahead and walk to the car. And you can tell already it is hyper flashing. So I'm definitely gonna have to put the resistor in, unfortunately. But it is flashing amber, so it does detect the different voltages and applies them correctly. It detects the blinker voltage and it gives me the amber lights. So now I'm gonna have to put in the resistor, and that should resolve my hyperblink. I'm gonna go ahead and get the lights turned off and get the resistor situated, and we'll swing back here. All right, so we have passenger bulb here, hyperblinking as confirmed. And with, at least with this car, of course, if you have a different car, you're watching this video for another reason, with the NV3500, you're going to want to splice your load resistor between the outer two wires. And you want it to be in parallel with the light. So not in series, you're not going to splice here and put the resistor here to here. You want the resistor to go from the black to the purple. So you're going to splice in one side here and splice in one side here. You can either do that through soldering, or I'm going to be lazy and do the cheap, quick way, and I'm just going to use these little clips they give you, because they do include these in the packaging. I've read reviews, they say they kind of suck. So if these fall apart, I will just go ahead and solder it in place. Now, quick note, I would suggest do not splice too close to the socket or too far up the harness. You want some room to work with, so probably right in the middle. So if you mess something up, or you decide later you want to solder it in, you can just pull this off, cut a little notch in here, and you can have plenty of room to work for solder or a different connector or whatever you wish. So the trick with these right here is you're going to push it onto the wire. See, there's a little slit here. This pushes in onto the wire, and you want it to go just far enough. Actually, you can go see where the first hole is by the slit. I leave that wire here, and then you're going to take the resistor end here, and you're going to go in the other end. Now, if you look here, kind of a bad zoom, but you can see that end has kind of got like a little bit of plastic. And I have the first one here spliced in on the black wire. It shouldn't slide in place, and then the resistor should be able to free hang there without falling out. That tells you it's nice and tight, and then you should be able to bring this little cap lid over, and it should snap in place. I'm gonna go ahead and get the purple one in place, and then we'll take a look and see if the hyperblink issue has been resolved. As you can see here, the resistor has been spliced in. It's nice and solid, and of course I have the resistor just kind of hanging there. I will it does have provisions to screw it somewhere if you want it to be out of the way. I might just zip tie it up off of something, and you don't want it to be on anything that can melt, because this will heat up, because it is a resistor, and resistor, as it passes the current through it, will warm up. So you kind of want it maybe hanging out of the way, but not free swinging around, potentially causing the connections to come undone. We'll go ahead and maneuver this bulb here, and we'll go ahead and start the car up. First, we'll go ahead and just check the daytime running light to make sure that's still working. And it is still glowing white. Perfect. So I went in the car and turned the blinker on, and I still had the hyperblink. It looks like the stupid clip folded over and didn't make an adequate connection. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off, and I'm going to splice in and use my trusty solder station and just go ahead and I'm going to solder this in. I went ahead and went to the driver's side, used these connectors. The hyperblink has been resolved, so it is, of course, the black and purple, but this, I believe this clip isn't quite making the proper contact, so I'm not going to fiddle with it. I only had these ones. Everybody complained about them not being very durable, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this potential liability and solder it in. You might not have this issue. You can stick with the clips if they work for you. Awesome. If not, use a different connector or go ahead and solder them in. I'm going to use some heat shrink I'm going to heat shrink it up, make it look nice, and I'll go ahead and just splice in and go ahead and remove these connectors. So I'm going to go ahead and get this soldered up. We'll come back here with everything finished, and we'll see if the hyperblink issue has been resolved. Passenger side, I have this side soldered up, and as you can see here, nothing super fancy, just spliced it in a parallel, replaced those flimsy clips. I haven't shored up the resistor, but you want to put that somewhere, either mount it to the side, somewhere where you get room to get this in and out of the socket down in here, but you don't want it to be laying against wires or a tube or something like that, because it will get hot. It is a heat sink, and we'll go ahead and test it once more to see if this hyperblink issue has been resolved. Alright, keys are already in, and that looks like the appropriate blink, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. There we have it. Hyperblink issue's been resolved, and it is blinking amber as it should. With my driver's side, I have this one actually done up with clipped, kind of a comparison. I didn't have a clip break on this side. I will switch this one to being soldered later if I have any issues with it, but right now I'm going with the hybrid setup. Clip on the driver because I'm lazy, and solder on the passenger because I fumbled the clip. But this does show you can solder it or use the clips. Either should work for you based on how comfortable you are with everything. Now I have the daytime running lights on. And you can see here, nice and white. This one has already been replaced as shown earlier. And this one is not in the socket yet, but white. So I'm going to get this back into the socket. Just like you remove it, it'll go up into the socket, and then you'll turn it clockwise to lock it in place. You are using the exact same housing socket as before, only the bulb itself had been changed, so it should go in exactly how you removed it. Of course, you're going to spin it the other direction to lock it in place. We'll take a look at how it ties everything together, and we'll do some tests on blinking, hazard lights, and daytime running lights. I have the LED blinker / daytime running light bulbs in place in the sockets. Everything seems to be working. Nice and bright white daytime, replacing the amber with the switchbacks. And nothing fancy with how I have the resistor. I just have a single zip tie off the harness. It keeps it away from touching anything, and even if we're hitting bumps, it won't hit anything important. But you might want to mount it, you know, up here with a screw, if you want to put a screw through here, or you know, somewhere, maybe even on top of this. That's up to you. This is kind of temporary. We'll see how I like it, and I might rearrange it. Driver's side has a little bit less room to work with, and since I did use the snaps, same kind of deal, just off the harness. And we'll see if the hazards are working. And here are the hazards. They flash amber as expected. No hyper blinking on that. Right blinker, left blinker appears to be of the normal speed. And since this is the last of the exterior front end LED bulb conversion, I'll go ahead and turn the whole front end on. And overall, it looks real good. We'll swing back here in probably an hour, hour and a half, and take a look at how these look at night with the blinkers, daytime running lights, as well as the whole setup. So, real quick comparison here. This is the OEM halogen blinker. I believe it's a blinker slash daytime running light, which is amber for daytime running light, and also amber blinker. It's once again evening time, and I'm back at the car, and as you can see, the top light is white and bright. That is my daytime running lights. It is a switchback daytime running light white, and of course turn signal are amber. I still would like to change out this light maybe with an LED, but that's kind of on the to-do list. But as you can see, beautiful light, nice cutoff line from the headlights, which are LED. Link of course up here somewhere, and looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the blinker on to see how they look at nighttime. You can see a nice cast here. They are much brighter than the OEM ones, and see how the light is now an amber color and no longer the white from the daytime running light. It has logic built in where if you use your blinker, the wattage is detected and it submits the correct color. As you can see there, the other side that is not blinking is the standard white daytime running light color. So it only applies the amber turn effect to the appropriate light that you are actually turning with. Anyways, that'll wrap it up. This is for the daytime running light slash blinker LED conversion on the Nissan NV3500. Beastzilla. Everything turned out pretty good, no issues, and hopefully they last. And as always, feel free to check out my other videos. I have a multi-part series on the front end LED conversion of the Beastzilla, and I do plan on doing some to the rear part of the car, possibly with these little indicator here on the side, which is just kind of now out of place since everything else has been turned with LEDs. And yeah, take a look, let me know what you think, feel free to subscribe, and have a great day. Peace.